Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're doing good today. Well, Christmas came just a little bit early, and so I've got a new raised bed. It's an 8 foot by 4 foot by 2 foot. And so today I'm going to explain to you why I went to a raised bed, the benefits that it has for a gardener with clay soil especially, and what I'm going to do to fill this up, because I think I can fill this completely up pretty much for free. And I'm going to use 4 different things, and one of them I was really hesitant about trying this, but I'm going to go ahead and I want to know what you guys think. But let's go ahead and get into it. So here's the problem with clay soil. If you're trying to grow early season crops like onions, carrots, lettuce, things like that, you run into this. And so in the spring, clay soil does not warm up as fast as a sandy or a loam soil. It does not drain very well. So when we get them early spring rains, you know, it doesn't take much, and that is what you're dealing with. And it's very hard to work this soil, especially when it's wet, to where them small seeds like, you know, carrots and lettuce, where you can plant them. And because it's cold, you run a real big chance of, you know, the seeds rotting in the ground. You know, conditions just had to be pretty much perfect for me to grow, you know, certain things in my garden. And I never had any luck with onions at all. Well, what made me go to a raised bed was a comment. And a couple years ago, first year I did YouTube, there was a gentleman named Anthony, and Anthony had probably been a gardener almost as long as I've been alive, and he was just a great guy. I mean, you know, we talked about a lot of things, and I had made a video and it wasn't even on onions, and we were just talking in the comments, and I told him I just couldn't grow onions, and he suggested a raised bed. And so, you know, for the last couple of years, I've tried a little homemade one, and I had a little bit of success. And so because of that gentleman's comments, you know, that opened up a whole new angle of gardening for me. And so that's why I love the comments when you guys share stuff. When I say thank you very much, I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. You know, the sharing of that information just makes us all better gardeners. And so, you know, Anthony, I cannot thank him enough for just that one comment, you know. Well, let's go ahead and we're going to talk about how I'm going to fill this up. All right, so real quick, before I show you how I'm going to fill this up, if you're watching the video and you like it and you find value in it, please consider subscribing. I would appreciate it, and it is free. Now, I do not consider myself an expert at all on raised bed gardening. I did have that small one for a couple years, but I'm just not real familiar with it. I really haven't watched a lot of videos on how to fill a raised bed, but I do know people will use wood. They'll use like 3-4 inch diameter logs. I'm not going to do that. The idea here is I'm going to plan for doing stuff a couple years down the road right now, and I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. But with logs, they're pretty much all carbon, and so I would think, and share in the comments if I'm wrong, or you know, help me out here. I would think they're using these as a filler, because it's going to take years for that to break down. So what I did is I started filling mine up with chicken manure and pig manure. Now it's very fresh. I would not want to plant in this, you know, but it is a great way to fill, because what I found out was from my my small raised bed, after a year or two, that pig manure had pretty much turned to dirt. And so that gave me the idea for doing this. So I went ahead and filled it up, and the only thing was I wanted to make sure underneath these rails that I got plenty under there, because this is going to settle. It's going to settle quite a bit, and so I didn't want them, you know, getting pushed down real bad. So let me show you how it turned out. Okay, so I still have one more thing that I'm going to put on here right now, but to get to this, which from here down to here, it's about 9 inches from the top. And so that took about 8 wheelbarrow loads of pig and chicken manure. And so the next thing I'm going to put on, I was a little bit hesitant about using. Let me know what you think, but I'm going to show it to you. So let's go take a look. Okay, so one of the last things I'm going to put in my raised bed is this right here. And so all this is clay soil, and I'm going to go ahead and show you. This is what it looks like. Now, why I wanted to use this is, one, I got a lot of it and it's free. But two, when it's warm, the pigs come right out in here and they use the bathroom. And so all spring, summer, you know, a lot of manure gets collected right in here. Well, then when it rains, it becomes what you see. But I'm going to have several months before I plant. It would probably be March before I put any onions in. And so all that manure has been in that dirt for months and months. And so it really should be a supercharged soil. So that's the good part. Now here's why I'm really hesitant about using this. I know I'm going to have fresh manure in there. And again, March isn't that far away. Now what I want to plant in that raised bed is lettuce, carrots, and onions. Now this year, I grew some really nice sized onions, but right before I harvested them, they all split. And one of the causes of that is excessive nitrogen. And so I know I'm going to get some fresh manure in here. And so I just hope that I don't have that same problem again. So that's why I'm going to take all this, I'm going to fill that up, and then I'm going to get some garden soil and I'm going to mix that in, and that's going to help this clay soil drain a lot better. So that's my idea on it. Now, over the next year or two, 3 years, the reason why I didn't use those logs and I went with what I did was because what I think I can do is I can dig 8 or 9 inches of that out and put it in a pile. And then I can go ahead and dig another 8 or 9 inches of that out, put the stuff that was on top, put it back in first, and then you seen what that or that pig manure looked like, you know, after a year or two. So as this breaks down, I'm just going to be basically recharging my soil, hopefully, you know, every year or every other year, whatever I think it needs. And so I'll always have a lot of good nutrients in the soil that I'm planting. And then, you know, it's going to break down as all that hay and manure and everything decomposes. And so I will just continue to keep adding these things to it. And so I might have a raised bed that I really never have to spend a lot of money on with some good soil. We'll just have to wait and see. Well, let me know what you think, and you know, let me know what you're doing with your raised beds and what you're doing in your garden this winter. Well, I'll talk to you later, and I hope you enjoyed the video. All right, see ya.